I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I'm so glad to be back to the farm. I've been away for some days preaching in a big church at Warri. We subsequently held our annual Word and Wisdom Conference for April 1st. Easter Monday. Today, I'm back in the farm and I'm having a great time. I want to do a video on the subject matter of married but single. Married but single. I first heard the terminology from a pastor who I suspect heard it from Dr. Miles Monroe. And I took interest in it. To be married and single means that you are married, but each component of the marriage, the husband and the wife, are approaching their lives in such a way as if they are not married to each other. I just finished spreading poultry manure where I planted cassava. Poultry manure is foul smelling and is very irritating. My wife cannot tolerate that. But I can spread poultry manure and it will not affect me. And so it will be wickedness to say because the two of us have become one flesh, that my wife will come and join me to spread poultry manure. In the process of doing that, I will irritate her and it will lead to conflict. In nuclear science and the production of nuclear energy, you can either produce energy by fission or by fusion. Fission in the sense that you split a nucleus and then the energy released in producing two different elements will be released as nuclear energy. While in nuclear fusion is the collision of two nuclei of elements and form one, and then in the process produce energy. I think it was Dr. Shakarov or Professor Shakarov of Russia that initiated that move. In chemistry, there's something called enthalpy and entropy. Entropy is the degree of disorderliness in a system of gas molecules. When gas molecules collide randomly, they generate enthalpy, which is heat. When there is too much proximity and interaction between a husband and a wife, it can generate heat. There is a misconception that because you are married and the two of you shall become one, you must do all things together. You must have the same vision and have the same entertainment, the same interest. That is not true. It is two human beings that came together. Two human beings of different persuasions, different ideas, different aspirations, different ideals. What becomes one is the pursuit of a common purpose to achieve a common goal, to achieve a common ideal, and to leave a common legacy behind. If you are to have an enduring and an enjoyable marriage, learn to respect the individuality in you. My wife is a totally different person from me, and I must respect that personality of hers for me to be happy. I cannot subject her under me and kill her person because I think that I am the head of the house. The brain does not destroy the intestines or destroy the liver for the brain to show supremacy of thought. It only enables them to function optimally if it is a good brain. I went to speak in a governor's house. The wife invited me to do a recording in her TV program. When I finished speaking, she said, "Wow, it was a marriage seminar. This your wife must be wonderful." She sent a vehicle with driver to go and bring my wife for the same recording. My wife said, my husband is the one that is called to preach. I am called to interpret his vision and to execute them by causing them to come to pass by building what he has conceived and helping him to make money outside preaching. Please tell the governor's wife that I'm not called to preach. If I have to compel my wife to do what I'm doing, to preach the way I preach, she will not meet my expectations. The resultant effect is that I will be correcting her. Correcting and correcting, it will lead to dislike. Dislike will lead to disaffection. Disaffection will lead to hatred, and hatred can lead to divorce. So as part of being married but single is to allow your wife to be who she is, pursue her interests, do her stuff while you do your stuff. The simple reason for two of you becoming one is for the liberation of your potentials, is to grant each other liberty. Liberty is a little bit different from freedom. Excessive freedom is slavery, according to George Orwell. But liberty, if there's calcium carbonate, I don't know the modern IUPAC name, and then you put hydrochloric acid, it will liberate the carbon dioxide trapped, and calcium chloride will be formed with water. Carbon dioxide is different, calcium chloride is different, water is different. It's the ability to allow individuals to express the fullness of their nature and their deposit. I have allowed my wife to have her own way, and me, I've also decided to have my own way in producing the maximum results of my personality. She doesn't have a YouTube channel that you will be watching. I have a YouTube channel. She doesn't preach the way I preach, but she has her businesses. We started with a singular account that we are co-signatories to. That account and those accounts, the ones that were subsequently opened, are there. But I don't run those accounts. I allow her to run them because she's a better manager of finances in our businesses. But I run a separate account in my real estate business, in my book publication business, in my ministry. And so she does not run that for me. It got to a point, I had to leave the schools for her to manage, because if I stayed with her in managing those schools, we will constantly have conflict over policy, over strategy. We'll have conflict over managerial style, over dispensational style. But I left her. She's producing her results. I give my suggestions. There's less of argumentation. There's less of quarrel and strife, because I have allowed her to manage that aspect of our common vision, of our common legacy. I have recognized the fact that she has grown to become an individual that can manage resources and does not need supervision or suppression. So I have peace of mind. The family is more productive, but I manage my real estate business, I manage my book publishing, I manage my farming business, I manage my consultancy businesses, and as a result, all of us are more productive. Even though she makes more money than me, when she places a demand on me as a man, I am able to meet her expectations because I have been liberated from the yoke of being bound to her and doing the same thing at the same time in the same place. It will limit you. When husbands and wives are too close together, they create problems through conflict from fusion. That's why I can constantly use Melinda Gates and Billy Gates and Bill Gates. They were always together doing things. Conflict is bound to come. We pastors, we have this tendency that our wives must preach, our wives must be this, our wives must be that. No, allow them be themselves. When I travel to preach alone, I'm much better, much more comfortable. I preach better. If my wife joins me, there are things I can tolerate she might not be able to tolerate. Conflict will come. When I go for missionary work, I can eat cassava leaf, eat potato leaves, be carried by bicycle like as I was done in Kenya, and ride chariot as I did in Ethiopia, sleep in the most uncomfortable places like as it happened in McKinney in Sierra Leone. My wife cannot tolerate that. When I went to Australia, I bought a ticket for 508,000 naira to fly there. My wife cannot tolerate that. I have allowed her to be her person, and she has, to some extent, allowed me to be my person, to pursue my purpose, to fulfill my destiny, and at the same time, gear and push our resources and efforts towards building a common legacy. And the two shall become one. We're not school children. We must not wear the same clothes. I don't wear the same clothes with my wife. We're not school children. She wears her own, I wear my own. We might not do the same things together. She goes to do her own, I go to do my own. I don't like ceremonies. I don't like public occasions. I don't eat in public. I don't like meetings. But I belong to a cooperative that my wife runs, but I don't go for meetings. She wants to go out to attend meetings and ceremonies. I don't join her. She dresses and goes. You must not go there together if you are mature enough to be trustworthy. There's too much conflict, too much interaction, too much collision by thinking that the two shall become one, is that you must do the same things together. She has her life to live. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is living her life. Her husband, who is a neurosurgeon or a surgeon in the United States, is living his life. Angela Merkel was living her life, and the husband living his life. That is the way to go. Married but single. Give some degree of social distancing, some degree of social freedom, and then you will enjoy marriage. If I leave here, I get home, I meet my wife that we have not seen for some hours, it is fresh. And then we can become more romantic and do other stuff that will accompany romance. But when we were always in the same car, working in the same hospital, going to preach together, the degree of conflict and the frequency of conflict was higher. When I learned this, I enjoyed marriage, and marriage has become more stable for me. Forget this primary school and an army attitude towards marriage. Married but single, social distancing, recognizing each other's personality, each other's freedom, and granting each other liberty to become who they are supposed to be, and bringing our successes together to build a legacy. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I am in the Farm Fellowship. Remember to attend our Inner Caucus meeting coming up 1st of May at Petra Christian Academy, Okwokoko. For inquiries, you can call +234 70 52 13 6763. The attendance fee is 10,000 naira, and it's only for 100 people. And you can pay into this account number 7472395013 FCMB 7472395013 FCMB, and send your payment receipt to 07052 136763. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you.